China is so big, and many of the measures are for China itself. In this recovery period, does China feel it needs the rest of the world? Not so much America, but the rest of us, Europe or BRI or ASEAN. Is it a partner, or is it going to go more, on its own, using its own money, its own technology, its own companies, its own people?
China is very much part of the world right now. China can never close the door and withdraw back to the China market. Because if you look at how much interconnection there is between China and the rest of the world, be ASEAN, for example, or EU, and whichever part of the world you see Chinese presence, and you see the Chinese businesses making win-win business propositions with their counterparts now. There is only one country in the world, or should I say, there is only one misguided leadership of one country in the world, that is the United States, who is talking about disengaging with China. I personally don't think that's possible. Disengaging with China is shutting yourself out from the largest market in the world.
But could I ask you a question about China? I mean, we talk about China recovery. Victor talked about Chinese technology, innovation. But when we look at the cities and the country is so big and it's so diverse, will that partial recovery, the half speed you talked about, be enough for the relatively poor and relatively not so advanced parts of the Chinese economy? And similarly, Victor mentioned the 8 million young people. Now, China has some fabulous universities, don't you think? But they also have some very, I would say, kind of second, third rank universities. And even before COVID-19, these people graduating from the second, third level universities struggled to find a decent job, a good job that suits a graduate. So this unevenness and plus the half speed, would it cause some economic roots of instability and questioning?
Well, whether it's a root of instability remains to be seen, but it's clear that there are very large inequalities. Even Premier Li Keqiang pointed out that, look, we may have on average something in the order of $4,500 per capita, but there's also 600 million people that only have about $1,400 per capita. So the income inequalities are quite large because of the fiscal system. That also translates into quite large inequalities in opportunities, i.e. access to education, access to healthcare, and combined with the hukou system that ties basically people to where they're born, and that's where they get their public services. So first, very important that this reform in the hukou system continues, that people can actually move to the areas where they are more productive, that's one, but also where they can put their kids into better schools and therefore get a better future for their children. Second, I do believe that 2 to 3% growth is not enough to give to meet the objectives of 6% unemployment and getting everybody out of poverty. Those are basically the big targets for this year.